using the Alamosa Public Library's online catalog. To get to the catalog, we find it easiest to go to the Alamosa Public Library's website, alamosalibrary.org. And then once you're on our website, you'll click on this online catalog button in the upper left-hand corner. This takes you straight to the catalog. To log into your account, you can either click on this button in the upper right-hand corner, or you can also click on Login here to the left. They both bring up the same box that you log in with. Every library card account has the same prefix, and they are all 14 digits long. Every account begins with 273330000, and then the last 5 digits are unique to each cardholder. Your password is going to be your last name in lowercase. If you can't log in with that password, give the library a call and we can reset things for you and make sure everything's up to date. If you are using a public computer, make sure that you do not use Remember Me. That is only for personal computers or smartphones. So click Login and it'll get you logged in. It takes you to this My Account Summary page. To get to that page from anywhere on the catalog when you're logged in, you can either click My Account, and it takes you straight to that account summary, or you can click Account here on the left, and it'll open up a small menu that has the same options as the My Account Summary screen. The first thing we'll look at is Checked Out Titles. Checked out titles includes physical materials and e-materials from the cloud library. You may also be using Overdrive or Libby. Currently, it doesn't integrate with our online catalog the way that cloud library does for e-content. You can see your due date for items, and then also a message about how the item is going to renew here to the right. This message says, if eligible, this item will renew on Monday, July 6th, which is the due date of the item. Renewals will happen up to 2 times. If it has already been renewed, it will say renews and then have a number that is listed there. The next option is Titles on Hold. This is a list of all of the holds you have on your account. For physical materials owned by the Alamosa Public Library, there's a limit of 5 holds on your account at one time. If you pick items up or cancel holds, you can get new ones up to the 5 limit. Cloud Library has a different quantity of holds and checkouts that you can have. It does record your reading history. You can tell it to stop recording your reading history or delete all or specific items from your history. The history is useful if you are wanting to see if you have checked something out before. So you can type in the title, you can do an author or a book in the different format stuff, and you just click filter, or you can hit the enter key. So it filters your results, and we can see the last use date and how many times you've checked that item out. You can also see your rating for that item, and then you can add it to a list or look at more info for it. You can click clear, and that'll take you back to your entire reading history. Next is titles you rated. Titles you rated ties directly into recommended for you. It'll give you a list of the title that you rated and the rating that you gave it. You can choose to clear those titles if you would like. And then also, these titles you don't want recommended are pulled from this recommended for you list, and then this button don't recommend. So what this is doing is the catalog is using which books you liked and how much you liked them to generate a list of titles that it thinks you might be interested in. If you see something on this list and you know it's something you're not interested in, you can click that Don't Recommend button. So if we click this Don't Recommend, it'll add it to the titles you rated in the Don't Recommend area. So it'll remember to remove those as stuff that you're not interested in. If you see something on this list and you are interested in it, you can just hit that clear button and it'll get rid of that recommendation or don't recommendation. There is the account settings. You have My Preferences, Contact Information, and Messaging settings. Under My Preference, you can see a couple of different options. This is preference that show up when you're looking in the catalog. So reviews after rating titles and bypass pickup location when placing holds. This is useful for libraries that have more than one pickup location or branches in their system. We only have our library, so if we turn that on, then it won't ask us which library we're wanting to pick the item up at. You can see your contact information and that little error button. So you can't change any of these fields. You will need to call the library to update any of this information. And in your messaging settings, you can see what kind of messages you are receiving from the library. These are automated messages. The SMS messaging is currently not being used by our library, so you won't be able to input anything there. You can also see a My Lists, which we'll cover in more detail later. Let's cover searching the catalog. To search the catalog, you have two options. There's this quick search field, and there is the advanced search. You can click on the drop-down menu, and then you'll see options that you can search by keyword, title, series, author, etc. You can search the library catalog or in lists, which again we'll be covering later. So you can type in, and it'll, depending on your browser, give you a list of suggestions. You can hit go or just hit enter. And the nice thing about the catalog is that it says here showing results for legendary with 1 R, because I put legendary with 2 R's, and so it has a spelling suggestion. And if you're sure that the way you spelled something is the way that the title was in fact spelled, you can say search instead for your specific spelling. You just click on that and it'll show you the different search results. To narrow down our results, we can limit what we're looking at by item type by clicking on any of these little icons, or we can also choose where we are getting the item from. So the entire collection, our library specifically, stuff that's available now, and stuff that's available online. If you click one of these or one of these, it will change the numbers. So say we're specifically looking for books. We can see now we're looking at just books, and it shows the applied filter here. And now we can see the entire collection, the Alamosa Public Library, or available now. So we'll click Alamosa Public Library because we're looking specifically for our items. And there's the book that we were looking for. So what we can see about this item is it's a book. We can see it's checked out and available elsewhere. We click Quick Copy View. It'll bring up this little menu and we can see all of the copies at all of the different libraries and if they're available. It looks like Alamosa Public Library's item is currently not available, so it's a 0 of 1. It does have a call number as well. If it was 1 of 1, we would be able to go to that call number in the library and find the item. So we'll close this. Since it's currently checked out, but we do want to read this item, we're going to say place hold. So we'll click that, and it'll give us this little message, your hold was placed successfully. So we'll close that. And now if we go back to your account, on account, and then we can see titles on hold, you can click that, and it'll show us pending holds for that item we just placed on hold. We can choose to freeze the hold, and this is useful if you're going on vacation. You can choose a specific day that you want the hold to automatically thaw on, so it'll show up at the library as a request that you want, or you can leave it blank and it will just stay frozen until you thaw it. So we'll freeze. It'll get that success message that we can close. It'll reload the site, and then now we can see the status is suspended. If that's a book we want, we can click thaw hold, and then it'll give us a success message. If we no longer want the item, we can click cancel hold, and it'll ask you if you're sure, and then it'll cancel it. Because you only can get 5, this is where the lists feature comes in really handy. So you can see my lists underneath your account. And when you haven't created any lists, you don't see those lists right here. You just see this button. So you click create a new list. You can do the title for the list, and you can give it a description. Then access, its default is private, so a list that is just for you to see. If you want to share this with others, you can make it public, and then people can search in lists and see other people's lists that they've created. So we'll hit create list. It'll get us that success message again, and now we can see favorite books is under my lists. So if we click on that, we can see what the list looks like. It says you do not have any saved resources. You can add multiple titles. You can do ISBNs or titles. So what it means by each on its own line, after you type the title, you'll want to hit enter. And then it is going to pull the first option from the search. So we'll click add to list. And we can see from when we searched legendary earlier that DVD was the first one. So that's the first thing it grabbed. And since we were looking for books, we can delete that because we're not interested in that one. And then just search back on the catalog. An Alamosa Public Library book. And so we can see that item right there, and we can click add to list. and you can either choose from your lists. If you have more than one, the drop-down menu will have all of your lists, or you can create a new list if it's the first one of a brand new list. You can add a note about the item if you want, but you'll just click Save to Lists, and it will put it on that list for you. I will go back to the My Favorite Books list, and we can see that that item is now there. So in the future, if we wanted to place a hold because we wanted to read book 1 before book 2, after we're done with 1, we could just click place hold right here from the list, and we can see there's a couple of different options. There's book, CD, and playaway. So you would just click place hold on the specific item type that you were looking for. You want to make sure that your lists do not get too long. If you go over a couple of hundred items on a list, it gets too big, and sometimes there is some data loss on the host side of this catalog that we are subscribed to. If your list disappears, there's no guarantee that we can get it back, so just try to keep it under a couple hundred items. You can have as many lists as you want, and you can break them down however you would like to. If you're having a to be read list, after you've checked something out, you'll want to delete it from the list. And you just use that little delete button to do that. If you're finished with your account, you'll want to click log out up here at the top. It's where the login button was.